Guys, get ready with me while I tell you about the time I literally got kidnapped in Mexico. This happened about literally last year. It's about to make a year, and I haven't really told no one about it because honestly that was like one of my scariest experiences like I've ever gone through, and till this day I'm still scared. So yeah, I ended up going to visit family in Sinaloa, and we ended up going to Mazatlan for like 2 nights. It was our last night there, and me being me suggested we go to like a high-end club. I was like, I want to spend my money, like I want to go to a nice club. My cousins ended up agreeing with me, and they're like, okay, like we're gonna go to El Clásico. And El Clásico is like those really good clubs where like all the musicians go, and it's just like a really high-end club. So we ended up going, but before we went, like I had this feeling. I was like, oh, I don't know if like I want to go, because that whole day we're at the beach and I was already exhausted, but I'm like, I'm gonna have FOMO. If I don't go, like I'm gonna be like crying. So I'm like, no, like let's suck it up, like let's go. We ended up going and getting there. My uncle got off to see how much the fee was to get in. I think the fee was like 2,000 pesos, and my uncle was like, oh, they're just switching it up because they know we're not from here. So my uncle was like, let's make a U-turn and let's call other places to see how much the entrance fee is, and if it's like a little bit more expensive, we're just gonna stay here. Right when we were doing the U-turn, I noticed the parking lot was full of Beamers, Range Rovers, Mercedes. So I was like, no, we have to get in here. Like, this club is going to be good, So we still made that U-turn, and we parked on the other side of the street. And right when we parked, we noticed these police literally come behind us, and they started ringing their siren. The police started inspecting our car because they're like, this car isn't from here. You don't have like this license plate. But we actually did. Before we got to the place, we actually ended up switching that because we knew it was going to be a problem over there. So we had it. Basically, they started like literally going through every inch of the car, and then my aunt was like, hey, like look at their hands, because they're known to stash drugs and blame it on you and get money out of you. So we're looking at their hands, but long story short, they ended up stashing the drugs inside of my uncle's pocket. Like literally, they're like, your uncle has coke, and we knew he didn't have coke. They literally stashed it. Part two.
Get ready with me while I talk about the time that I got caught with a boy in my room at the age of 14 by my dad and stepdad. It all started freshman year when I had this boyfriend, and I posted on my story, swipe up for a TBH and a rape. He had, of course, swiped up on my story, and I gave him his TBH, and it was like a pretty good paragraph, and towards the end I put something along the lines of, I'll sneak you in one day. And I was very, very all talk. I really did not mean what I said, but he thought I was being dead serious, and he never let me forget it. He would always bring it up and would always be like, so are you gonna let me just come in? Like, he was very pushy about it, so I kind of felt forced to, but I never did until the whole COVID thing happened. Let me just explain my situation. I had been living with my mom while doing my online studies through Zoom, and I would visit my dad and stepmom every Thursday and Friday. And one day I was there, and long story short, I snuck him in, and it was successful. Now, let me just say, I was never really slick with it because I had done it multiple times, and I thought I was getting really good at it. But let me just say, one time my dad found my window screen on the floor outside, and another time I guess there was a shoe print on my wall, and my stepmom had saw it. Now, my dad was pretty naive about finding my fucking window screen on the floor, because I basically just told him like, oh, it got really hot, and like I tried opening the window and it fell. He believed me, so that was that. My stepmom, she never mentioned the shoe print to me, but it did raise her suspicion. Anyway, so she had her suspicions, but again, she never told me anything, so I thought I was being a slick ass bitch. I was not. But anyways, let me just preface that I was pretty good at doing it. Not a flex or anything, but I was pretty fucking good at it. I was pretty slick about it. I would always tell him like to come at like 3 a.m. because I knew that everyone would be like dead fucking asleep. But as time slowly started to pass, like I started decreasing the time because I thought I was just so good at being sneaky. Sorry, y'all, I had to change the angle because my knees were on fire. But anyways, I started decreasing the time. Like, I would tell him, like, oh, like, I guess you could come at like 1, I guess you could come at 2, or like sometimes I would be like 12, which was a stretch because sometimes my dad and stepmom would still be awake, but I didn't really give a fuck because I just thought I was that good, even though I wasn't. Obviously I wasn't slick enough, but I thought I was, because I would turn on the ceiling fan and I would turn on Netflix and kind of just have like some type of volume there to mask our voice. Zombie fucking dirty. I know you thought some dirty shit. It was not Netflix and chill. But anyways, go to part 2 for the rest.
One of my biggest fears unfortunately became a reality. Get ready with me, story time. Over 5 years ago, I actually used to work at a grocery store in my city. At this job, I first started off as a grocery bagger, and then I moved my way up to be a GM, which is a general merchandiser. So I basically restock products, and then I shortly made my way to becoming a clerk, which is another word or term for cashier. I do want to mention, when I became a clerk or a cashier, I was working at that job for maybe like a year. I was about to hit like a year. In my opinion, when you work at a grocery store or somewhere where you're helping out customers, kind of start to get a feel of who your regular customers are. It was a weekday and I was working in the afternoon, and this guy came in my line. And again, remember I said I do recognize regulars? Well, I just knew that this guy wasn't a regular. At least I had never seen him. So this older man comes into my line, and in my opinion, he's one of those guys that if I were to see out on the streets, I would probably like turn the other way. Not even like that I'm judging the way he looks. It's just like the way he was like looking at me, like it was an evil look, if that makes sense. Like it was scary. Like me being alone and I see that, I'm running the other way. This man is next in my line. He had one item. He asked me like the most like random question. He's like, hey, do you know where this item is? And I was just like, oh, it's like right behind you. I don't know, it was just like weird. It's like he knew, but he still wanted to ask me. And then the second weird question that he asked me was, what is my name? And if you work at a grocery store, you're always gonna have a name badge, so it was just weird that he asked me for my name. I do understand if you want to get to know me and you are a regular, you're going to become a regular at the store, you kind of just want to have a conversation. But the way he asked me for my name wasn't just like a normal conversation. It was kind of like, oh, I want to investigate you, who are you, one of those type of conversations. Kind of just let it be, and I was like, all right, Ash, just move on, just scan his order and get him out of here. He was the type of like customer where he would just like look at you, scan his order, like he would just like stare you down. And personally, when I go to a grocery store, I don't even like look at the cashier. If I do, I'll like glance at her, but nothing where I'm like staring at her, like creeping her out. Anyway, so that guy leaves, and then later on in the night, I think I was working like a 12 to 9, and I remember this guy came around like 9 o'clock, almost time for like me to clock out. And one of the girls comes up to me and says, hey, like there's this guy, he's looking for you. And I was like, who? Like, do I know who he is? And she was like, I'm not sure, but like he was describing somebody and the only person that fits the description is you. And I was like, that's a little bit weird. Also, I do want to mention that I was in the break room at this time when she told me that this guy was like looking for me. Me being me, I was like, who's this person? I want to go see who it is. But I'm a very observant person. I'm also a very like paranoid person, so I was being sneaky about it. I would kind of just like peek a little bit, or I would go up to like the office and I would kind of try to see from the office out to the store. Sure enough, when I spot this man, I was like, dude, there's no way this is the guy that I had the weird encounter with earlier in the day. Okay, like that's weird. Why is he asking for me? Like, I'm not getting good vibes off of him. I felt very uncomfortable, and I feel like one of like my biggest fears is always like having a stalker. I feel like that's just any girl's fear, is having a stalker, right? I refused to go back out on the floor, and he ended up leaving. And tell me why the next day he comes back and I'm at the register, and one of the girls comes up to me and she was like, hey, like I think that guy is back, I recognize his car. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, that guy who asked about you, he was like, I don't think he's walked in, have you seen him? And I was like, no, I haven't seen him yet. Why? She's like, okay, I'm gonna switch spots with you, you go hide. And I was like, oh my god, like there's no way this is
this is my reality right now. So thankfully she let me out of the register. I ended up going in the very back to like the milk box area, and there's also a medicine room. So I literally hid in the medicine room, and I was like, bro, there's like no way that I have a stalker right now. Like, what in the actual fuck? Before my coworker actually let me out, she told me to stay nearby the back phone in case he leaves, that way I can come back out. And I was like, okay, cool. So I remember she ended up calling the phone, and I answered, and she was like, hey, like this guy's looking for you again. And I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah, like he's looking for you, and I don't feel like he's looking for you for a good reason. It's like, because it's been an hour and he's still in the store and he still hasn't bought anything. She was like, usually if you're gonna be in the store for this long, you at least have a cart full of groceries. I'm gonna probably have to wait until after closing for this like man to leave, or until I'm able to leave. So to keep my mind busy, I ended up leaving the medicine room and I went to the milk box, which honestly is still in the back, but when it's in this corner and the milk box is on the other side. And so I just started filling up milk because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be back here, let me at least help the closer out. I'm filling the milk up, and I just see like a hand right there, like grabbing milk or faking that he's gonna grab a milk. And I was like, bro, there's no way this is my stalker. And so I look, and sure enough, it was him. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I literally left the milk box area and I went back to the medicine cabinet or the medicine room. And I just stood there. I was really hiding in between boxes. I think I even have a Snapchat. I might insert it if I do find it, of me literally hiding in the milk box. I was like, bro, I can't believe this is my reality right now. But at this point, it was already closing time, and we closed the grocery store at 11 o'clock. I was supposed to clock out at 9 o'clock, and tell me why I did not leave the grocery store until almost 12 in the morning. I left that late because this man's car was still in the parking lot. He had one of those car vehicles where, like, you know, when somebody passes away, they have like that certain type of vehicle they put like the casket in and the person in. Yeah, he had one of those. Yeah, when I seen that he had that type of car, I was like, oh hell, I'm not about to walk out, and the last thing I need is for him to know what kind of car I drive. This guy finally leaves, and then I end up leaving as well. As I'm on my way home, I decided that I wanted to go to the gym, and the gym to my job was only like 3 minutes away. It was over the bridge. I walked into the gym and I went to the squat rack, and tell me why.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play,
Get ready with me while I explain to you guys why you can't trust literally anybody. I feel like I just have really bad luck with friends. Also, before you guys assume this is not a hickey, I burned myself with the beach waiver. Like, I promise it's a burn. Anyway, there's this guy that I was dating. I was dating him for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. I don't really remember. But at that time, I was also really, really close with this one girl. Also, I'm not going to name drop. I wanted to, but I'm not going to because it's really not that deep. To sum up how close we were, if someone couldn't get a hold of me, they called her. If they couldn't get a hold of her, they called me. Because we were always together. Anyways, me and him ended, and then not too much longer later, me and her just, like, fell apart. Like, nothing happened between us, like, no beef, no drama, no nothing. We just really stopped talking for a while. Recently, around the beginning of October, she slid up on one of my stories, and then we kind of just, like, caught up and started talking again. And then the bond that we had before, like, literally came back within an instant because we were so freaking close. And, like, you can't really erase that. Like, we were literal sisters. We talked every single day, hung almost every single day, but let's skip the backstory, the boring stuff, and let's get to the point. She stayed the night the day before New Year's Eve, and then was at my house New Year's Eve morning. I had plans that morning, so she ended up going home just for a little bit, and then we planned on meeting back up and getting ready for this party. We were texting all day. We were so excited about the party, and then randomly she's like, oh, sorry, like, I have plans with my family. And I'm like, girl, don't even worry about it. Like, I'll just go out by myself. Family is more important. Like, of course. The party that we were going to go to together was, like, really far, so I didn't want to go without her, so I was trying to find, like, another party to go to. I ended up finding one that was really close, after everyone was posting about it, and literally everyone was there. And I was like, okay, everyone's there. I mean, I'm going by myself, but I know a lot of people. It's fine, whatever, let me just go. Because, like, I didn't want to do nothing on New Year's Eve. So I get there, I found all my people, like, I'm having a really freaking good time, and I want to say at least 45 minutes to an hour goes by, and I'm over here catching up with one of my other friends, and I'm talking about how much I miss my ex, and she goes, girl, he's downstairs with so-and-so. I start laughing. I'm like, no, she's with her family. Like, haha, good try. Thinking it was a literal joke. Like, I literally thought it was a literal joke. I go downstairs and she's sitting, like, in the corner behind the pool table on his lap in a chair. In that moment, I'm, like, really freaking confused because I'm like, she just told me that she had a family thing to go to. Like, why did she lie to me?
But like also in that moment, my heart completely shatters because I'm like, I was just talking about how much I miss him, and my best friend is sitting on his lap right now. I wouldn't say like best friend. Like, I don't know what you classify as best friend, but we were getting really, really close again. And if you guys know me and you guys watch my TikToks, before any of you guys ask, no, it's not Haley or Charlie. I just haven't really hung out with either of them. Still love them so much. I see Charlie tomorrow, so y'all will probably see her too. Anyways, back to the story. She made direct eye contact with me and then hurry up and looked away and acted like she didn't even see me. He gets up and he comes over and he's like, yo, nice to see you. Talking to my other friend, talking to the other friend, talking to the dude behind us. And I'm like, he just touched my hand. Like, we're gonna get married again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was like heartbroken in this moment because like, what was that? She walks to the opposite side of the basement and goes up those flight of steps to like avoid us. And I'm talking to him, like having a normal conversation. Like, obviously, like if he's with her, I'm not gonna flirt with him, even though that was my man and my best friend. Whatever, it doesn't even matter. But I'm like talking to him and I'm like, oh, so like you and so? He was like, yeah, we've been together for like 2 months. You didn't know? In my mind, I'm like, that dab up meant nothing. I thought we were gonna get married. He just dabbed me up. We're gonna get married. Nope, it meant nothing. I'm just kidding. Let me stop being delusional. Anyways, back to the story. We had been friends for over 2 months. Like, been close again for over 2 months. And she never once mentioned that she was dating my ex. Yeah. One that she would tell me to leave in the beginning over and over and how he's no good for me. Anyways, fast forward. She didn't talk to me the entire party and then blocked me. Like, I texted her and I was like, hey. That's all I said was, hey. Blocked. She blocked me, and I'm not gonna go chasing after anybody. Obviously she was no good because what was that? She could stay in 2023. That was so cringy of me to say, but she can stay in 2023 because 2024 she will not be in. It's low-key not that deep because he was my ex, but you are supposed to be my best friend. You're supposed to be my best friend. I feel so embarrassed because I had been like sobbing about him to her. Not sobbing, but like I miss him. Like I want a bad girl. Like we should go on a 2-man and like invite him, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, she's in a relationship with him. Like I look so stupid sitting here crying about him to her when she's dating the man. Or talking to him. I don't know. He just said we have been together for over 2 months. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Ah! Like, why? Why? In my opinion, no matter what, that's a violation of girl code to, like, date your best friend's ex. Yeah. But, like, at the same time, I'm not going to lose my best friend over a boy, so I wouldn't have really cared if she didn't lie to me about it and then blocked me because I texted her, hey. Anyways, guys, that's all. I love you guys. I'll see you later. I just had a rant real quick because... let me tell you, that had me heated. Peace out, guys. Bye.
Breaking news. The future is here, and it looks bright.
Get ready with me for a fight. So, basically, this girl wants to fucking fight me, y'all. Like... if you know me at school, I'm like one of the sweetest people. Like, I mind my business. I don't talk to anybody. Like, I have my 4 friends that I talk to all day. No, 5 that I talk to all day. If you don't see me talking to them, then I have my headphones in and I'm minding my business. So, there's this girl. Not gonna say names. We're just gonna call her Mia. So, y'all remember yesterday how I was talking about Sam and how he's a hoe, right? And how I wanted to mess with him, but he didn't want a relationship, basically. So, I stopped talking to him. So, I forgot to say good morning. Good morning. I was just too excited to tell this story. So, he used to mess with this other girl named Bree before he started to mess with me. And Bree got really sad that, because she really liked him. And so she got really sad that he didn't want to, like, be in a relationship with her, basically. So when he started messing with me, she got mad at me. So Miss Girl is mad at me, and she was like, and Simone was kissing on my boyfriend. First of all, baby, I didn't even kiss him. I never put my hand, that boy never put a hand on me. I never put a hand on that boy. So where did you get kissed at from? Because that never happened. So let me get into, like, what happened yesterday. So I was minding my business, and every little so often when I am in the mood, I go into the bathroom to see how I look, just to see if I like, you know, have something on my face or something. So I go into the bathroom and she happens to walk in before me. So I walk into the bathroom and she happens to walk in before me, and I'm just checking myself in the bathroom because, you know, every so often I just go in the bathroom and to see how I look. And she happens to go in before me. She says, when I walk in there, she says, "I'm not gonna deal with this bitch," and walks out. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, babes. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's not talking about me. So then I get out the bathroom, I'm walking to my class, and she goes and says, she talking all this shit, but she not gonna do nothing. Y'all gonna have to go to part 2. Sorry.